Hey, good morning, it's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, live for you again today for the second time on LouTube. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it also. And two, this is the second video today, the second team preview. So if you missed the first one, the South Carolina Gamecocks, I'll put a link right here. You can click back and watch that video. I normally don't do two previews in a day, but I've got to start doing two a couple of days a week, so I make sure I get them all done before the start of the season. So this is the second team preview video of the day. Today's preview was a suggestion from Patreon member Parker C. So Parker, this video is for you, sir. I appreciate you supporting the channel. Thank you. Can't tell you how much that means. If you guys want to join up on the Patreon page, click the first link in the description of this video or any video I've uploaded over the last month or so. That'll take you to the Uncle Lou Patreon page and you get yourself signed up. Support the channel. It really means a lot and I would appreciate it. Okay, up today, the 2018 college football team preview for none other than Kansas State. If you're a fan of Kansas State or a Big 12 team, or you're just excited about the start of college football season, hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to Uncle Lou channel if you're not already. I post pointless, barely watchable college football videos almost every single day of the year. I'd appreciate it. And without any further ado, let's get right to it. Today's preview, Kansas State. All right, here we go, Kansas State Wildcats. Now, what do we know about Kansas State off the top of our head? One thing and one thing only. It's the only thing anybody knows, unless you're a fan of Kansas State or maybe a big college football fan of another Big 12 team. But basically, all most people know about Kansas State is what? Bill Snyder. This guy's 238 years old. He's been coaching college football since, way back since the leather helmet days. This guy's been around forever. He's not going anywhere. What did they do last year? 8-5. Now, he's replacing both his coordinators this year, and they lose a lot of starters from last year's team. So a lot of people consider this year to be sort of a rebuilding year for Kansas State. Kind of late in Bill Snyder's career to be having rebuilding years, but it is what it is. 2 new coordinators, replacing 9 starters. 8-5 last year, a bowl win over UCLA, a Josh Rosenless UCLA, but a bowl win nonetheless. Some questions this year at the quarterback position. They got 2 guys sort of fighting it out there. We'll see which way it ends up landing. That's pretty much come down, I guess, between, and yeah, I had to write a lot of these names down, but what is this guy's name? Deaton, Delton, whatever his name is, and Thompson, right? One guy's more, you see this a lot. One guy's sort of a better passer and one guy's sort of a better athlete, right? This guy Thompson, he had 5 touchdowns last year in limited action. He was something like 51 of 85 for 400 or 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. You had the other guy come in and play in the bowl game, Dalton, Deaton, didn't, wouldn't, couldn't, shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever his name is. He comes into the bowl game against UCLA, has 158 yards rushing and a win over UCLA. So we'll see which way they go. Maybe they play both of them. I don't know. We'll take a look at the schedule in a minute and see if they have any opportunity at the beginning of the year to try to figure out the quarterback situation in live competition, or if they're better off figuring it out in the preseason. They're good to go at running back. They get a couple of guys back there led by Barnes, a junior. He had almost 1,000 yards last year. He'll probably go over 1,000 this year, and they get all 5 offensive linemen back. So if I had to guess, I would say Kansas State would be more of a running team this year, which is a little weird in the Big 12. They'll sling it around some. Wide receivers, their top 2 wide receivers are gone, so they're going to be a plug-and-play sort of deal at wide receiver. They got a couple of guys back that had 400 or 500 yards receiving last year, but the 2 big guys, the top 2 guys are gone from last year, so they're going to be looking to replace that. We'll see how they do there. Defensively, their top 2 tacklers from last year are gone. They both played linebacker, so they're going to have some issues there. Youth and inexperience are going to plague Kansas State this year on defense, I'm afraid. They also lose their best run stopper and their best pass rusher off the defensive line last year, so defense going to be a work in progress this year. Lost a lot of experience and talent and starts off of last year's team, combined with the fact that they got a whole new coordinator in this year, could spell problems for Kansas State. Going to be difficult for them to get back to the 8-win mark this year, but let's find out if they can do it. Here's the schedule. I'll put it up on the screen right now. All right, the Fighting Kansas State Skeletors start off with none other than, I about read the wrong schedule again. I did that earlier on another video too, didn't it? But yeah, they start off with South Dakota. Great news. Great news that it's not North Dakota State, because they probably would beat Kansas State. South Dakota State, though, not quite as good as North Dakota State. Kansas State should get this win. Very hard for me to pick a Power 5 team to lose to one of these lower tier teams. Do I think Kansas State is a great team this year? No, I don't. I think they'll probably be one of the worst teams in the Big 12, but nevertheless, they should get the job done at home week 1 against South Dakota. Congratulations, you're starting out 1-0. Week 2, at home again against an SEC team. You tried this last year, didn't work out too well for you. Took a beating to Vanderbilt. I say a beating. I think it was 14-7, but the point is you lost to Vanderbilt. And if you're scoring 7 points on Vanderbilt, you've got serious issues, okay? Vanderbilt gave up 40, 50 points to every SEC team they played last year. You get Mississippi State coming to see you this year. Good news is Mississippi State, not Vanderbilt. Bad news is Mississippi State way better than Vanderbilt. Mississippi State might beat you 100-2. They're that good and you're that bad. Mississippi State, I need to do a preview on Mississippi State. Mississippi State is a very dangerous team this year. They're loaded with talent and experience. You're not winning. Has nothing to do with me being an SEC homer. You're not winning this game. Mississippi State takes this one. That puts you at 1-1. All right, then you get another nobody, UTSA. What is that even? I think it's, what is this? Texas, San Antonio, the Roadrunners. You'll be the Coyote, but they're not beating you. The Coyote wins. The Roadrunners lose. Kansas State and the Fighting Bill Skeletors move to 2-1. All right, now you got to go on the road. West Virginia, Will Greer. This guy's going to throw for over 4,000 yards without even trying this year. I've already done the West Virginia preview, so if you've seen that, this won't be a surprise to you, but I don't give Kansas State much of a chance of competing against West Virginia. West Virginia doesn't have that good of a defense. The problem is you don't have an explosive offense to take advantage of West Virginia's defensive issues, and your defense is way too young and inexperienced to be ready for what they're going to see from this West Virginia offense. West Virginia wins this game big, and you take another L moving to 2-2. Texas, another team I've already previewed, a team that I'm high on. Of course, I was high on Texas last year. They made me look like a complete fool. I'm giving them one more chance this year. I'm high on them again. I expect them to have double-digit wins this year and be competing in November for a Big 12 title. Maybe they don't make the title game, but they need to be in the hunt to win the Big 12 in December. It's long overdue for Texas, and I think this is the year they put it together. You're not beating them. It's a home game for you. Don't think it's going to help that much. Texas wins. Not off to a good start here. You're sitting at 2-3. You go on the road next to play Baylor. Terrible team, one of the worst in the Power 5. I hate to do this to you, Kansas State, but I have this as a toss-up game. And let me just go ahead and tell you, if you're playing toss-up games against Baylor, you're in bad shape. You're in bad shape. This is a toss-up. It's on the road at Baylor. I'll come back to it and pick a winner or a loser here in just a minute. Then you come back home, play Oklahoma State. They lose Mason Rudolph. That's great for you. Bad news is they still have Justice Hill and a lot of other weapons offensively on that team. Another team that doesn't play a whole lot of defense. Just don't think it's going to matter against Kansas State. I really feel like this is going to be a bad year for you guys. I've got you dropping another one here at home to Oklahoma State. Take you into a much-needed bye week here. Rough start to the season. I've got you sitting at 2 wins, 4 losses, and a toss-up through your first 8 games. Is that right? 7 games? That's just the way I see it. Coming out of the bye week, on the road at Oklahoma. I can't pick you to beat Oklahoma. I'm sorry. I'm no Oklahoma fan. Yeah, I know they lose Baker Mayfield, but I mean, Rodney Anderson, Kyler Murray at quarterback, lots of talent on the defense, even though Stoops, their defensive coordinator, is more confused than a 2-year-old in a titty bar when it comes to running a defense. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Still, I'm sorry, you don't have a chance this year of competing with Oklahoma. You got to play them there. They're going to beat you by a lot to a little. Game won't be pretty. On the road at TCU. They're no Oklahoma, but they're better than Kansas State. This is a road game. Gary Patterson, he's been around a long time too. He's not 290 like Bill Snyder is, but he's pushing 100. He's been around forever. They beat you. I'm trying to find some wins here. This is going to be a rough year for Kansas State, but you lose back-to-back games here on the road, Oklahoma and TCU. I'm sorry. Kansas, win. Anybody that plays Kansas, I'm chalking it up as a win there. Terry, I don't even know why they try to field a football team. They're absolutely horrible. They're only even around because of their basketball team. Their football team is an absolute disgrace and embarrassment. You thought, but you think you're bad. Good news, you get to play Kansas. Kansas, one of the few teams Kansas State can look down on. So congratulations, you will beat the Kansas Jayhawks without a problem. Yeah. Another home game, Texas Tech, toss-up. You end the season on the road at Iowa State, toss-up. Two teams that I don't think are very good. Problem is, you're not very good either. Iowa State, giant killer from last year. Texas Tech, Cliff Klingberry could be on the hot seat. This could be a must-win game for him. Those are toss-ups. That's 3 wins, 6 losses, and 3 toss-ups. Let's go back through these toss-ups, see if we can find any wins here. At Baylor, I'll give you a win at Baylor. I think Baylor is that bad. God is punishing them for good reason. I think you go on the road and get a much-needed victory here because you got a string of L's. West Virginia lost, Texas lost, then Baylor, Oklahoma State lost, and Oklahoma lost, TCU lost. That's a lot of losses. You really need to win this Baylor game to avoid 6, 7 losses in a row, okay? At least then you can split them up, 2 or 3 losses, a win, and then 2 or 3 losses. But you better find a way to win that Baylor game. I'm giving it to you here in this video. What else? Home against Texas Tech. Win. I'll let you have that one, but that's going to be another close game. Kingsbury could be coaching for his life in that game. Texas Tech could be a dangerous team at this point in the season. I'm just be honest, Kansas State and Texas Tech, not a whole lot of people are going to be tuned into this game the end of November, but you still have to play it whether anyone's watching or not. I'll give you a win. On the road at Iowa State, I think you lose. I'm a believer in Matt Campbell. Why is he still in Iowa State? I don't know. Oh, yeah, I do know. Because he didn't want the Tennessee job. Don't blame you, sir. That would have been a downgrade from Iowa State. But if this guy wins 7, 8 games again this year at something called Iowa State, he'll be gone. He won't be at Iowa State very long. Anyway, that's it. That's the Kansas State preview. 5-7 for Kansas State. You lose too much. Replacing both your coordinators. That's new terminology, new plays, new schemes. Not a whole lot of experienced talent to lead this team. Not a lot of senior leadership. A lot of young guys. You don't recruit at that high of a level. I feel like you're probably gonna finish. The Big 12 has how many teams? 9. Well, what kind of sense does that make? None. But they do. You're gonna finish 7th, 8th, or 9th in the Big 12. It's just not going to be a good year. I think it would be, if you can make a bowl game, I think that would be a positive year for Kansas State. Like I said, just lose too much, new coordinators, yada, yada, yada. Difficult schedule, some tough road games, tough non-conference game against Mississippi State. Not going to be a good year for Kansas State. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I'll be back tomorrow with another preview video. Live show tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. Have a great morning.